Welcome to the Three Principles Global Community webinar. The Three Principles Global Community, or 3PGC, is a nonprofit organization that is committed to bringing an understanding of the three principles as introduced by Sydney Banks to people throughout the world. And today we're just so thrilled to have Jacqueline MamaJ Hollows. After founding and running a nonprofit, Beyond Recovery, for 10 years, MamaJ pivoted in 2025. She's now on a mission to activate heart-led coaches to increase their income and impact by working with the communities they want to support. Beyond Recovery worked with hundreds of inmates, transformed lives, and trained facilitators. She also co-authored several research papers. MamaJ is also the author of Let Them Feel It and Wing of an Angel. And yes, and you're all in for a treat. We were chatting a few minutes before, so I know you're all going to just love this, and we love having you. So, MamaJ, it's all yours.
Oh, thank you, Tom. Thank you for the warm introduction and also the nice little cozy waiting room that we were in before. That was beautiful. Really helped to get me into the feeling. So, Marlene, yay! So, I have been here before, so that's why I recognize some names. It's so lovely to spend my evening here with you. I'm really, really grateful. Really grateful. So, I'm going to invite you to just take a moment to get really present. We're going to spend an hour together, and I will invite you to engage with me, and I'll invite you to ask questions or make comments and anything like that. So this is a discussion. It's not just me blurting stuff from the front here. But I know that we've all had really busy days. So I'd like to invite you just to take a moment, just to really ground yourself and bring yourself to the room. We've given ourselves this time, this precious, precious time to be together and connect around the world and to share where we are honestly and really in the moment. There's no judgment here. There's no expectation. There's no shoulds. I'm going to read you a few words from the missing link just to set the scene. And while I'm reading, I invite you just to notice your breathing, notice your thoughts come and go, and acknowledge yourself for turning up tonight to nurture your soul. So I'll just find my piece that I was going to read you. Just enjoy the moment. So the missing link by Sydney Banks on page 8. He tells us, words are merely a form. Listen not to words, but to that which words attempt to convey. Remember, it is not the clay that represents the sculpture, but the form that the artist has molded it into. Just like the clay of the sculpture, thought is not reality. However, our personal realities molded together. However, our personal realities are molded via our thoughts. When you're ready, I invite you back to the room to spend this precious time together. Now, as it goes, that wasn't what I was going to read to you. However, I couldn't find the thing, so I just landed on that and read that, but it applies anyway. Um, I'll start with this, is that I never knew that I was the source. So what I mean by that is when I was running the nonprofit Beyond Recovery, which took Free Principles Understanding into prisons, I thought it was the work that was important. I thought it was what we were doing, that was making a difference. And it became, in a way, my identity. People knew me as the prison lady. And I loved it. I loved it. I loved the prison work and I loved being the prison lady. And I loved it a little bit too much because I found it really difficult to let go. And when I did let it go, and bearing in mind that I trained lots of facilitators during that time, so I did other things. I wrote a book, Wing of an Angel, which I'll hold up again, which is my memoir. I co-authored research papers, I trained facilitators, I co-authored a curriculum. There was a lot of form, a lot of form. And there's nothing wrong with form because form comes from the source of you. But I thought it was the form that was important. And when I gave all of that up at the beginning of this year, I made the decision at the end of last year, I grieved over it because not only was it my baby and I loved the work, but I didn't know who I was anymore. I was back to it's just little old me not doing important work. It's just what have I got to say? What have I got to bring to the world? And I hear coaches and change makers and free principles facilitators say that all the time they're not ready or they don't know what to bring to the world. Well, I was there. Even though I met the principles like 15 odd years ago and I did all this work around the principles, I was in that place of what have I got to offer now? I'm a slow learner. But what I realized is that it doesn't matter what you think about yourself. It really doesn't matter. It makes no difference. Like you can just go, oh, huh, I think that, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, because the source of you is always overflowing with what next, with who you are. What Tom put it brilliantly, the next expression of you and your work. It is the next expression of consciousness that you're bringing to life. And it doesn't really matter what that is or what you think about it. You're just allowing it. You're just allowing it. Now, whether that's art or business or coaching, or relationships or loving your pets or cooking, all these ways that we express love, allowing it means you find what's next for you. Allowing it allows you to see opportunity. So when I didn't know what I was going to do next, but I knew the Beyond Recovery was finished, and that's all I knew I had to take the leap. It took me a long time to take the leap, but I knew I had to take the leap into, okay, that's closed. And I thought I'd become a postie, like a post person and drive a little van and wear a little red outfit and sprinkle fairy dust on people and, deliver letters with love. And I was like quite excited by that, to be honest. I thought I'll get fit They only work in the morning, so I can have the afternoons off. And I'll even get a little van to drive around in, it's like perfect, really. But my husband wasn't having any of it. It's like, in cat years, I'm 8 years old. So he's like, "You're eight, stop. You're not becoming a postie at eight." So I thought, okay, I better think of something else then. And so I really want to give you that hope of we all feel like that. It doesn't matter what you've done in your life or how successful you are or what other people think about you. We all get to a point at times where we go, I haven't got anything to offer. But I know I'm dedicated to looking within. I'm dedicated to the direction of allowing myself to not know and seeing what unfolds. And by that, I don't mean not doing anything. By that, I mean doing what occurs and then seeing what unfolds from there. So, before I'm going to ask you a question, because this is interactive. Oh, no hands down. I don't know why it did that. This is an interactive discussion. And I'm going to ask you a question before I tell you what happened next. And my question is, because I'm going to try and link it back to the title now. What do you think has to change for you to do what you want to do? If anything, you might not think anything has to change, but what is it that has to change? And you can put it in the chat or you can come on you can speak. Yes, Marlene.
This is so interesting that we're having this conversation today. I've been listening to, as I typically do, to Cindy Banks' recordings. And you know how he said in his books and his writings and he said, like, just be ordinary. And I thought, like, I don't want to be ordinary. I want to be special. I mean, I have this need to stand out or be recognized and then a couple of days ago, just went like, it's like, oh my God, if I just allowed myself to be ordinary, I could show up as who I am.
Oh,
Like it just took all the weight off and all the burden off. And then I also saw if I wasn't giving that any attention or energy or strategizing, if I felt kind of at home and at peace myself with myself, like all of that creative energy could flow through. And it's just been really very cool. I have
wow.
a whole week planned of being ordinary.
Yeah. Just for a week.
I have to go to all these different networking events and functions, and it's like, yes, I just can't wait to get there and be ordinary.
Yeah, love it. Thank you for sharing that. I love it. Gorgeous. I see, is it Line? Is that how you say your name? Yes, nice.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
from Denmark, so it's Line.
Lena, hi from Denmark. Um, be professional. I'm not that yet. So that's what's getting in your way. That's what you're saying. That's what has to change. You have to be professional. Yeah, it's valid. It's valid. Am I frozen or are you? Oh yeah. It's a valid thought. So we'll park that there and we'll come back to that one. Dennis.
Hello.
Hi.
Good to meet you. Marlene, not to pick on you, it's just the way my mind works. But whenever I hear the word ordinary, I always think of the word extraordinary, and I'm like, well, does that just mean ordinary, but more of it? It's for myself. I'm kind of at a very interesting point in my journey because in those younger days, it was always about identify the thing and then go for it. And that never felt like it fully worked. It never felt like it was fully enjoyable. So I am now very much experimenting with identify the things, let the things come to me, and go for it.
Nice.
Yeah, so yeah,
Nice. Nice. There's a different cadence, isn't there? A
yes.
different sort of, yeah, beautiful, beautiful. Love it. Love it. So when I had this next insight, I didn't, oh, Paula, sorry, I nearly ignored you. No, come back.
No, you didn't ignore me. I was slow at the I was slow at the gate. Hi, Jacqueline. I just want to take a quick minute and say I don't know if you recall, but we have been in touch when you were going to try and be coming out west. I'm so happy to see you and meet you on screen today. So it's lovely to see
Yeah.
you.
When I saw your name, I wanted to say, I nearly got to stay at your home.
Yeah,
But I didn't want to like out you, so
another time, I hope.
yeah, thank you. Thank you.
And it's good to see everyone else here that I know on screen today. I also love this topic. I'm thrilled that you're talking about this. And what I want to say that is next for me is directly related to something that has been before for me, because life has taken me on a detour this year. I was on a path and life has had other plans. And I was fighting those plans for a while. And I have come to the place where I am ready to go with the flow. And so I am back on the path, not my path, but life's current path. And I'm following the path as it unfolds before me.
Nice.
That's what's next for me in whatever arises. I'm waiting to see.
I love it. I love it. Very good. Very good. Yes. You know, Paula really points to the answer there, and you all have in different ways. And I'll tell you this bit before I do the reveal. So I woke up, I do workshops in Denmark in January, and I woke up at this workshop in the middle of the night. Denmark's very special for me because I actually saw the Northern Lights in Denmark in the place where I was staying one year. I mean, how amazing is that? But anyway, in January, I was doing this workshop. I woke up in the middle of the night, having told them all day that I was going to be a postie, and because I was giving up this work. And I suddenly realized, like, everywhere I go, people ask me, how do you work in prisons? How do you work with homeless communities? How do you write research papers? How do you write proposals? You know, how do you get funded? How do you do the stuff? People have asked me that for years, and I've consulted with people around the world for years. And I thought, well, that's what people are asking me, so why don't I do that? Why don't I just do what's being asked of me? It occurs, you know, the universe is showing you. It's not what I wanted to say. I wanted to say, instead of looking outward to what can I do, it suddenly occurred that what are people asking me for? Like that, it's obvious then that's what you're doing, isn't it? Or that's what you should at least look at. So I suddenly got really excited and I thought, this is amazing. I'm going to do this. I'm going to share with people everything I've learned over the last 15 years. And I'm going to have a school and I'm going to activate people. And, you know, all my boys who get into trouble when they get out of prison, they'll have somewhere to go. You know, I was like really excited about it. I was just as excited about this work as I was when I started Beyond Recovery. And so all of a sudden I started getting appointments in the calendar and opportunities and all these amazing things happened. So for the first few months, I thought, wow, I'm in flow. This is it. I'm in flow. It's all working. It's all unfolding. And I was, to be fair, but that wasn't the point. What I realized was one day I was walking down the lanes and it was a really beautiful spring day. And I'm very fortunate. I live in the countryside, so all the trees were coming to green and the fields were all green and the baby lambs were out and it was just absolutely beautiful. And I suddenly knew it doesn't matter what I do. I am the source. You are the source. It can look like prison, it can look like business, it can look like all of these things, but it doesn't really matter because it's coming from here. And that the feeling I had of being in flow was just informing me that I'm not stuck in my head. And that actually, if I'd suddenly decided that's not working or it's not quite right, then I just need to lean back again and the next idea would occur and we dabble there. And maybe what I did here taught me some stuff that I needed for the next idea. So nothing is wrong. Nothing has to change. It doesn't mean that we don't need to learn something. So sometimes I'll use Laney's example, be professional. It doesn't mean that if you have that idea, you shouldn't follow that. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is that idea stopping you doing what the next thing is? Are you allowing that idea of what has to change to get in the way of everything? Because that's what I find, that's what I do, and that's what the people that I work with do. We get like, oh, I need to do whatever. Like I needed a platform to host my program, but I didn't get in the way, let that get in the way of starting it. Right, I started my program, it was messy, I was all over the place with resources, the pilot program wasn't brilliant, but I took care of my people and figured it out. And then the next program, the one that's just finished, was amazing. It was amazing because I learned some stuff and I taught myself how to use a platform and so on. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Is it making sense? We might need something, but the something we need isn't the thing that makes us do what we need to do, because nothing has to change. We have everything. I don't know what Sid meant when he said be ordinary, but I've heard it several times. And Elsie, who was one of my mentors, often told me to just be ordinary. But what I see in that when I reflect on it is there's so much in the ordinary. There's so much, as Marlene pointed out, your true self is in the ordinary. And when we look there, how can I just be in the world as I am? All the opportunities that you need come to you. They're there anyway, but you start to see them because your mind clears of insecurity and what ifs and what I need and what has to change. And even if it doesn't clear, you don't have to take it seriously. It's just stuff. So when I know, like, oh, I need to learn something, then I either go and learn it, or I think, okay, well, maybe I can't afford to do that learning yet. So what do I need to do? What can I do right now? How can I move the dial right now with what I've already got? And then you sort of feel like I do, that you need way less than you think you do. If you think about the emphasis we have in this community on listening, like, you can be a better listener every day. You know, you can practice that skill for free, and you can practice it all day long. And if you're going to practice it with the hardest people, because that's when you find out what you're really listening to. And I found walking down those prison corridors, what people needed more than anything was being listened to. They didn't need me to tell them how thought, mind and consciousness works. They didn't need me to tell them that they can have they're in separate realities, or that they can have whatever. They needed to be listened to. They needed to be felt. They needed to be seen. And that did the work. The logistical understanding is helpful and goes hand in hand with, I believe, with the sustaining, because you always know where to look. And then you always like go, oh yeah, I just realized it's me. I've talked to a couple of clients this week and said, if when you're hurting, like, just see, are you banging yourself on the head with your phone? You know, is that what's happening? And we generally are. But the truth of what you're bringing isn't teaching the principles, it's being present. And that is the same with a coaching client as it is in business. I'll pause there before I go on to the next bit, just to check in. Any thoughts, comments? How are you doing? How's this landing with you?
Well, Mama J, I'll just share something. I just want to say that this time together, I feel this amazing. I feel excited in a way that is a little different from before. And there's such a freshness and openness
Mm.
to this. And I had an insight recently that there are so many opportunities that they already exist, they're already here, and that when I'm trying to figure things out, and I'm not seeing what's right in front of my face. So
Yeah,
that's just a little
yeah,
snapshot of present moment.
yeah. So true. Yeah. Bruce.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here. Listening as being present is really a skill that I've gleaned from studying Sid's offerings. And in 2 days, I'll be having a call with granddaughter who's a junior in college studying psychology, and she just got certified to work with persons that are involved with domestic and sexual abuse. And she's now going to put it into action and really hone the skills of deep listening. And I'm constantly offering ideas of incorporating the realm of spirituality into her work, and she really gets it and is evolving. So I think her capacity to deeply listen will be magnified, and that's going to go on to serve her. And after completion, or near the ending of her completion, I'm introducing her to several people that are longtime three principal practitioners that I've known that are part of this community, so that she can get face to face with them and kind of learn, like you, when the rubber meets the road in the world, how do you manifest that deep listening that floats the needs of those that are out there, rather than talking at them, but listening and sharing with them.
Yeah, absolutely beautiful. Yeah, good work. When I worked with sexual offenders in a high-risk prison, it was much harder initially for me than the lower category prison, because I had way more thought. Like, I went in with way more thought and way more gotta keep my eye on things and so on. And they're different, and they didn't engage as much and all sorts. And I tell you that I had one of the biggest insights I've ever had, sat in that room with 10 men who really didn't even want to talk or be there. And one of the men felt it. He felt the vibration of the insight. And the insight was my parents were innocent, which I, in all my years, have never thought that. I'd forgiven them and I'd moved past my trauma. But this came to my mind, was my parents were innocent. And he felt that whoosh. And he said, "What's happened, miss?" And in the glow of that, I shared it with him. And it's one of the most special moments I've ever experienced. He was me and I was him, and I could see his innocence as well, and and my own innocence, and it was just like this. And all my thinking dropped away after that. I just saw them for who they were, the innocence underneath the behavior. So really admire your granddaughter for the work that she's doing, and you for supporting her. So I'm going to touch on this subject because we touched on it earlier with Tom, and he said it would be useful, and I have found it to be useful for people, especially in the free principles, but in transformational coaching, where people have had a deep spiritual shift. One of the real world things that seems to be difficult is selling. We have such a lot of thought about money and what it means, and how much we should have and how much we shouldn't have, and how much we should charge and how much we shouldn't charge, and whether we should charge, and all of these things. And selling is icky, and we have all of this thinking. And so I reflected on that in my early days and thought, what can we do about that? And I wrote a little mini book called Let Them Feel It, which I'm going to gift you all the ebook, and Tom's going to figure out a way of getting that to you, which is how to attract new clients without a pitch. So, thank you. I wrote that book because I have come to love selling. I love selling. Selling is service. A true selling relationship is as deep as a deeper connection as a coaching relationship. So one thing you never have to worry about is where you're coming from, because you're all gorgeous, right? And you're all coming from your heart, and you all want to change the world and you all want to help people. So you never have to worry about that. So you can just take that off the table straight away. You're not allowed to have any more. Well, you can have doubts, but you can just like, yeah, I've heard you. Thanks. Yeah, whatever. Next time they come, because you're already gorgeous. So nothing has to change there. And then it's as simple as talking to people about what you do. And when you know that you can help them, offering to help them. That's it. That's what selling is. It's just sharing from your heart what you do. And yeah, there's some things you can do to tighten that message and make sure they can hear you and so on. But a lot of it is listening, let me tell you. And then if you truly believe I can help this person, you just tell them, I think I can help you. Would you like to know more? And then you tell them what your offer is, and whether that's a coaching package or a program or an in-person meeting or a book or whatever it is. You just simply tell them what your offer is and how much it is. And a little tip on that is just don't think about it. Have one price and tell them the price. And that's it. And then you wait. And then you listen. And people say yes. Or people say, I'm not sure that I can afford that. Or people say something else. And then there's more discovery. And then there's more connection and conversation. But you don't have to. What I used to do, maybe you're like way, way further ahead than me, but what I used to do is sit there thinking, I don't think they can afford it. So shall I discount, or like, shall I do 4 sessions instead of 6, or shall I do this, or shall I do that? Was I present when I was doing that? No. Was I listening when I was doing that? No. I was in my head thinking, trying to get my fingers in their wallets, thinking like, what have they got in there? Let's have a look, right? When truly, you literally do not know what people can afford and what they can't afford. And we all use the excuse, I can't afford it. And then who has gone and bought that holiday or bought that training or bought those shoes, even though they thought they couldn't afford it? We've all done it. We've all bought the stuff we want to buy. So you can take a lot of insecurity away when you know that all you're doing is sharing an offer from your heart. Now, in my book, you need to charge whatever you want to charge. You don't have to be free or cheap or any of that, because you have to sustain yourself, put your own air mask on before you fit everybody else's. And we're not used to doing that. Oh, we're used to going around looking after everybody and saving everybody. But actually, part of being ordinary is having to pay the bills. Part of being ordinary is wanting to go on holiday. Basically wanting to create income for yourself to live the life that you want to live. And that's different for everyone. So you just figure out what you want, figure out how many people you want to work with or how many groups you want to run, and then you charge that. Easy peasy. If you want to work hard and you want to work with, like 1 million people a week, and so that you can only charge a dollar or something, then, go ahead, do that. But not many people actually want to do that. If you want to really be of service to somebody and you think, I only want to work with to 3 people a month, then you have to charge accordingly with that. The charging part is unrelated to anything. It is only related to how much do you need to earn. So shall I go and be a postie? Or shall I work out how many clients I can serve to bring in the income that I want to bring in? It's a lot. It's a lot. I see that that's a lot. So I don't want to overwhelm you. But I wanted to put that out there as a let that percolate in your minds. Because I can tell you now, if I spoke to every one of you individually, I'd probably tell you all to double your fee. Right? I can pretty much guarantee that looking at the room. And I would probably tell you that nothing has to change for you to charge that new double fee. Because you're not offering a widget. You're offering a life, I'm going to cry, a life-changing transformation. You're offering somebody to look in a place that they probably never look. In your words, in your way, or in your activities. You know, you can cook with people and chat to them. You can walk with people. You can do art. There's all sorts of ways you can do this work. You don't have to sit in an office and speak to somebody once a week for the next 3 years or something. Bring you. But what you're offering, the transformation you're offering, is to see beyond the veil of this thought created reality. And that's already of service, that you want to do that. So do it. Go do it. Go be you. Go be activated. I've really, really chattered on. I'm so sorry. Are there any more questions and comments or insights? Love to hear how this is landing for you, if anything is different from when we came in. Or any questions? Anybody got something that they go, if I knew the answer to this, I'd get started tomorrow, or I'd double my prices tomorrow. Who's going to double their prices? Come on, come on. I thought Lorraine was putting a thumb up then. Yes, Bo, yes. And we'll get Lorraine in as well. Yes, thank you. Thank you. What you're not aware of is, even though however long you've been around this understanding, we all do the same thing to ourselves, is we think we're the ones having the thoughts. So we think it's us, and then you're with somebody and you're having all those thoughts, or you're beautiful and you have these lots and lots of free coaching, and then you never actually get around to offering them anything, and you sort of wonder, why don't they come back to me and say, I want to come and pay you. It's not how it works. How the world works is you have to tell somebody you've got an offer, and when you start doing that, it's scary and you have lots of thinking and you have lots of doubts, and then somebody says yes and you think, oh my goodness, that's amazing. I'm still pushing myself. I daren't mention fees here. No, I will tell you this because I really want to give you the flavor of it and show you that I'm the same as you. I have the same doubts and insecurities. In January, I had clients well, a particular client, but my other fees were much greater than this, who were paying me £50 a month for unlimited voice coaching. And I had a range of clients in between. Probably my most highest ticket client was £250 for a session, which I thought was high. And all sorts, and I had lots of free. And I really didn't know how to change that. I really didn't know. But I followed the principles that I've told you. I kept looking within. I kept looking, what do I need? I had some money stuff going on in my head, which I sat with for a while and nurtured myself for a while and all sorts of things. So I've been on a journey. And I just signed a client for 10K. Right? Right. So that's what's possible. There was a period where I didn't incrementally go up or anything like that. I leapt because I leapt in consciousness about what was possible. I leapt in my understanding of what I'm bringing to the world. And with that leaping, the playing small and the hiding doesn't make sense anymore. No, I'm massively, like, this client is on a 6-month immersion with me. She has 100% access near enough, you know. We have weekly 2-hour sessions, and she's coming for a retreat, and she can access me anytime she wants. But with the last 2 clients that I signed up, what I noticed is all the work was done up front. All the work was in the first 2 sessions, where I just got deeply present and listened. And the rest of it is support and maintenance. The rest of it is pointing them back to what they've seen in that transformation. So I could say, you have 2 sessions with me and you massively transform, you know, and it's going to change your life, because it's true. That's happened for me. But what I see is that people, don't believe that, find that really hard to buy and get in their own way. But when I say, work with me for 6 months, this is what's needed, and this is how much it will be. I mean, she didn't go, oh yeah, here's the money. She was like, oh, that's a lot of money. And I said, yeah, it is. Yeah. Because I've learned to just get present when you say your fee. That fee came out of my mouth before I even, actually, I'll tell you the truth. I didn't know what I was going to charge her, but I knew she needed a 6-month immersion. I knew she needed to be immersed in this understanding to overcome some of the things that she was facing. And I normally don't even do one-to-one coaching anymore. I only work with very exclusively with just 2 or 3 people, because I run my group program. And so I thought, I don't know what I'm going to do here, because I haven't got an offer. But as we were together, it became apparent, yeah, definitely I want to immerse her. And then then I said, I think this is what we need to do. And she asked me the price, and I said, I normally charge 2,500 a month, but it's going to be 6 months, so I'm charging you 1,750. And she was like, oh yeah, that's quite expensive. And I said, yeah, it is. Anyway, she said, yeah, let's do it. And then she went away, and then she panicked because she went, oh, it's a lot of money. So I calmed those panics down. And then I added it up, and it came to £10,500 for 6 months. And I thought, wow, that's my first 10K client. Just previously to that, I'd listened to this mini course on how to get a 10K client, because I thought it's impossible. Like, who's going to charge? Like, who's going to pay that? That's a crazy amount of money. And I listened to this course, and I could see, actually, you don't have to do much. to do that. Like, to have a 10K client, you don't actually have to do much. And so I could see it was possible. And then you know what happens when you see something's possible? It's like the doors open a little bit, isn't it? All of a sudden, the door that you didn't even know was there is open. And then the fella said, he's not in the free principles. He said, guaranteed there are people in your industry already charging this amount. And I went, that's true. That's true. And listed off a handful of people in our industry that is true for. I was like, okay, well, if then, why not me? And that was enough that 2 months later, when that person was sat in my living room, I made a 10K offer without quite realizing, because I'm not great at maths. So I hadn't quite realized that that's how much it would end up being. But do you see the point? Nothing really had to change. Nothing had to change. Not even I had to change. I didn't even have to get out my own way. Nothing has to change. And knowing that nothing has to change allows whatever needs to evolve within you. Makes sense? Feed me. I need to know how you're doing, what's going on, what questions are going on. What thoughts? Wendy?
Hi. This is a timely topic. I met with Paula, who's here. Hi, Paula. And I met with her a week or two ago, and I'm putting together my first group. So I put into the 3PG community, has anyone created a group? If you're able to chat with me, that'd be super. Paula reached out. Great. So we had a conversation, and yeah, it is scary, and you don't know what to charge, because really you're just making it up. You have no, and you want to charge what people will pay, and then maybe there's a friend, and she's saying, oh, give me the friend discount, which is not really cool, but so it's you know what I mean. These are real thoughts that we have that really, really get in our way. And
Yeah,
so I really just wanted to say thanks a lot for this conversation, because it's very timely for me right now. And I don't know if I priced my group right. It's fine. It is what it is. Price can always go up next time.
that's
Um,
right.
I started off at $900 a person, and I'm gathering 10 women. So
Great.
so far I have 3, and I'll have 10 by the end of next week, I'm sure. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. But it's hard when you're in this field of work. I think especially, or maybe just the person that you are, because you do give your information. I have no problem chatting with someone anytime, all the time, but I've need to I'm becoming more conscious of the difference between chatting and coaching, and
Mm,
and just um like, you wouldn't go to a surgeon and say, hey, give me all kinds of ideas on how to fix this. They're going to say, book an appointment.
yeah,
We're not going to talk about that. So it's just thinking. Yeah. So thanks a lot
yeah.
for this
It's
conversation.
great. It's
Nice to
great.
meet you.
Really good. Nice to meet you. I'm really, really, really happy with what you're doing. Really good. And no friends discounts. No, let's stop that. Like, no friends discounts. You can think of something when people can't afford to work with me, I send them my book, or I send them some YouTube videos or some resources. I love that. And now I also have like a free school community where I can send people to. But no friends discounts. It's like, no, that's the price, and that's that. Because it takes off all the thinking. It's just helped me to go, this is who I'm working with, this is the price, that's it. And then there's none of that having to, juggle. And interestingly, Wendy, the confidence comes with then every time you say it, every time you tell somebody, every time you say no, there's no friends discount. But do you know what? I don't know, I'm going to do a PDF afterwards. You can have that, or whatever. Like, you can think of something creative, but really being clear about your price is interesting, because the people who have come for years for the free coaching don't come anymore because all of a sudden you're just being clear. This is where I'm at. Yeah, it's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. I can see how it's making a difference just to be in my presence and waiting for insights to surface. I've seen problems in my personal life turn into magic. So I can see that in that time, it's worth a lot for the client. Yes, not in the future. No. What? There's no future. What's the future?
Yeah. Well, Mama J, we're nearing the end of our time, but I just wanted to say, if there's anyone there who has a question but has been too shy to raise their hand, just raise it and go ahead. I was going to say, don't make me ask a question.
Well, I'll speak up because I love what Jacqueline has said about pricing is really a state of consciousness. It's, we can't figure it out or strategize or ask 25 people what they charge. It has to come from the kind of from within our own consciousness, because we know that this understanding is life changing, and so many people that I've worked with or I've seen, they've tried so many other things. So yeah, it's hugely valuable. Thank you.
Good. Good. Thank you.
Well, I put the link in the chat for the free ebook. So it's there. And I just want to say, Mama J, thank you so much for this webinar. I think the recording, especially if the people aren't here, this is really going to help a lot of people. I just feel that. And for those of you who are in the 3P membership, or three members of the 3P community, guess what? You're going to have the opportunity tomorrow to see Mama J again, because she is going to be, how lucky we are, 2 days in a row. She's going to be with Erin Turner for A Simple Premise at 2:30 2:30 Eastern. And I see Paula has something that, so there's a link in the chat. Let's see if it's there. It says free ebook. Do you see
We
it?
can't see it.
Can't see it.
Can't see it.
No.
I wonder if, um, so the chat settings say, let me see, let me try this again.
Shall I try?
Yeah, why don't you go ahead?
It's not, it's, if you copy that link, that will take you to, did I make sure that, yeah, that will take you to something called Book Funnel, and then you just have to download it from there.
Can you guys see it now? Is it coming up?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, I had also put in a link to, for those of you who are not members of the 3PGC, we just wanted to take the opportunity to say, this is just a small example of what we do, of what's available in the community. There are just tons of archives there. There are all sorts of free programs every week. And if you go to the 3pgc.org, you can look for some more information about membership. But Mama J, thank you so much. This has been so amazing. I want to invite everyone to feel free to unmute themselves
Thank
and say
you.
thank you.
Everybody.
Do some hearts.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jacqueline.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Lots of love.